Hang on. Hang on, yo. Yeah, yeah. So as you can see, I'm still on the Piper deal here, but it says, will it CTD? Because that's the shit that happened on that stream last night. And be honest, I was so tired yesterday that like I was just like, man, you know what? I ain't fucking with this anymore today. So I turned it off last night, and I was thinking about it, and I think I know why I got the CTDs, and I want to see um, if I'm accurate. So we're gonna try it. Pretty much everything. I left everything the same from last night. The only thing I changed, I just adjusted under general options with traffic. Traffic, I just put down to 20, and I left everything else the same. I think the reason why we lost our screens, had that CTD yesterday, was because we were flying from an airport in this recommended spots. So these are all kind of like hand done by Microsoft. And I forget where I read it, but somewhere I read it recently that if you are taking off and landing from any airport in this list, you run a very big risk of, having a CTD, having a crash or the screen's going out. So yeah, I mean, like this Mifflin County, that's in this list here, and so is JFK. So yeah, that's not what we're doing. So we're gonna fly from Charleston, West Virginia. Where is CRW? Yeah, Chuck Yeager Airport. So let's set that as, and we're gonna leave on live weather. Only thing we're gonna do is just put this back to the middle of December like we typically do. We'll leave on live weather. That's the other thing that could be triggering it. The live weather could be triggering it. So it's either the traffic, multiplayer, or the live weather. It's one of those three things that could be happening. Anyways, so all right, we got our time in there. Let's go ahead, and we got our gate. I left the livery the same as last night as well. I didn't want to change that. And let's go ahead and click fly. Let's see what happens. But yeah, I want to get this down because I have flown this plane a few times since the last patch, and I haven't had any issues at all. At all. Even with some of the even with some of the mods downloaded, I still really haven't had an issue. But last night I had an issue, and that bothers me because I like this airplane a lot, and I shouldn't be having issues with this airplane, even though it does have these Garmin screens. All right, so all right, let's see here. Everything looks okay. Okay. All right, let's bring our flight plan in. Top of descent, top of climb. Okay, let's see here. We should have a total of 307 for fuel. We're going to 27,000 feet today. And we're taking off runway 23, picking up HVQ, which is the VOR station right around us here, picking up highway J6, taking that to, I think that's Martinsburg, I think. And then picking up the EMI 7 arrival. And then we'll take that EMI 7 arrival to our destination, to BWI airport. So, all right, let's go ahead and let's put These on, chocks. I'm gonna do everything the same as yesterday too. So I'm gonna do the load in real time and all that. So let's go ahead and connect. All right, let's put out the red carpet. All right, let's go ahead and. All right, let's go ahead and begin our checklist. We're going to do everything the same as yesterday. I don't want to change anything other than the airports. So, and a little bit of the traffic. But.
Pre-flight. Checked. Maintenance. As required. Flight plan. Uploaded and checked. Fuel and payload. Confirmed and loaded. Door.
Let's open the door up.
Open. GPU. As required. Wheel chocks. Removed. All covers. Removed.
All right, let's start loading. So we're going to wait for the fuel truck. He's going to come and make sure we have the right amount of fuel and that our tanks are even. And then we'll have the passengers come over. Should be a total of 3 passengers. That's what I chose in SimBrief when I created everything.
All electrical switches. Off. Cabin climate controls.
Yep, they're off.
Circuit breakers. All pushed. ECS cabin comfort switch. Off. Parking brake. Set. Bleed air lever. Pull off. Closed. Power lever. Idle. Condition lever. Cut off. Emmer switch. On. Pilot PFD. Verify on check system status. Emmer switch. Off. Battery switch. On. Fuel gauges. Check quantity and imbalance. Fire dead / and test switch. Press and hold verify engine fire com message.
And again, I'm trying to leave everything the same as last night. So we're just going to let this fuel truck, do its thing. It's going to take its time. It's got to get perfectly straight behind the wheel at the right perpendicular angle. Then it's got to back up and move forward enough to be completely even. So this is going to take a few minutes here. Still going. Yep, still backing up and pulling forward. Got to get that right angle. Yep, now we're backing up. So we can put our hose in. Come on, bitch. Put your hose right here. Then pull it out and put your hose right here. on, you can do it. You can do it. You can do it. Ooh, maybe it's finally stopped. Once the fuel truck leaves and we're waiting for the passengers to come by, we'll start our engines up. In the meantime, let's get our charts together here. So, for BWI, we have arrival is what's it? Oh man, where's the EMI? Hang on, let me get Navigraph up. I was hoping to not have to use Navigraph, just to see if I could get away without using it, but it's not the case. I need to see. Oh yeah, plus I need to pull up the chart for this plane also, because I need to get the power rating for our for cruising today. There's a whole table and chart that goes with this. All right, yeah, arrival is EMI 7. That's 10-2E. 10-2. Okay, okay, here we go. Westminster 7. Okay, there we go. Got that. And our approach is 11-3. Yep, here we go. 15. All right, that's good. And all right, there we go. And we're dinging because we're off balance right now. See? So if we scroll over here, it's going to show that we're off balance. But that'll soon be fixed.
Don't you worry about a thing, man. It'll be fixed in a minute.
All right, let me get this file up because it's like 100 and some pages long. All right, downloads. Where's the F500 manual? Here we go, F500 manual. And I'm gonna go to, because I do like using the checklist in this better than the plane itself, but I usually use the assisted checklist in here to make it seem a little more realistic. At least while we're on the ground. Then once we're in the air, I usually switch over to the checklist that's in this, 148-page document, and then there's also the table charts that go over, what our torque should be, what our, for each altitude over 15,000 feet, anything over 15,000 feet, and a certain temperature, it has a chart, and it's like a reference chart, so you have like columns on the right and left. Well, here, I'll just show you the chart. What's up, Frank? Trying to see if I get some crashed screens again, or if I maybe I fixed it. Yeah, so we have like this cruise performance chart that shows up here like this. So I just have to reference like the altitude and the outside temperature, and it gives me like the maximum torque. Yeah, I paid good money for this airplane, and I want it to work properly. So I think I figured out what the problem was, but we'll see here in a second. All right, passengers are on the way. Let's go ahead and continue our startup process, even though the door is open. Alright, manual.
Manual. L and R fuel pump on.
Yeah, I never really had an issue with this plane until the last patch. And then, but I think I figured it out.
Ignition switch. Manual. Ignition on common
I think we
switch.
can't use any of the handcrafted airports. I think that's the big issue.
Start mode switch. Auto.
If you use one of those
Switch
handcrafted
extinguish.
airports, or more than
Start
one,
switch.
I think that's what created the issue that we had last night where the screens went black.
Cover. Push. Oil pressure. Check rising. NG. MIN 13%.
Yep.
Stabilized.
Come on, let me go downstairs so I can fix the, there we go. Let's put this on run.
Run. ITT. Max 1000 Celsius limited to
Alright,
5
passengers are
seconds.
still on the way.
Starter at 56% NG.
Almost. Wait for this to get over 56. There we go.
Verify start engage. NG. Stable above
Yep.
63%. NP. Verify 1200 RPM.
Oh, I heard it beeping. Passengers are here. Alright, let's put on a generator.
Check positive amps and 28 volts. Alt switch.
And an alternator switch.
Fuel pump switch.
Alright, fuel pumps go to auto.
Ignition switch.
Ignition switch off.
Oil pressure.
And oil pressure is 113. So we can check this off.
Minimum 60 sun.
Alright, what does it say they're doing? Does it say preparing the board? So we got our Range Rover out there with the passengers, we got their baggage, we got the red carpet. It should say soon they're taking selfies. Yep, taking selfies. And then it should say that they're flirting with the pilot also. That beeping is going to continue until we close the door, by the way. Alright, let's turn the avionics on.
MFD.
The reason I use the date I'm using is because you see nav data says November 30th to December 27th, 2023. So it's now 2 AREC updates behind the current one. So yeah, flirting with the pilot. See? Alright, let's tick that off.
Press enter. Com messages.
I know the door's open.
Consider any illuminated. Autopilot. Pre-flight test. Auto switch. Uncheck operation. Auto switch. On. Taxi/rec LT switch. On. NAV switch. On. Cabin climate controls.
Okay, they're gone, so we can now close the cabin door, get rid of the red carpet, security chocks, we can disconnect the GPU. Let's wait for this door to close. We will put on the cabin controls momentarily. Give me a second here. Alright, let's go back to here so we can look at our METAR information. Alright, let's put on cabin controls. Let's put that on. Let's put that on low. Let's do that. And let's put this up about here. That way it'll be a good temperature for people in the back.
As required. Radio avionics.
They are very picky
Check.
about the temperature.
Flaps. Retracted.
Very picky.
Elevator trim. Set in takeoff
Yep, let's put this on 2 to 3.
Set 2 to 3 right trim. Leave air lever.
Yep, let's make sure this goes in.
Push in. On. Cabin pressure dump switch.
Yep, that's good. Oh, I got a ticket. Ticket.
Verify position. ECS cabin comfort switch. Normal. Dest L. LFE and TMR.
Yep, destination elevation is good.
Set. Stall board test switch.
Alright, let's try that out.
Stall, 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 stall,
Press to test.
stall.
Altimeter set. Set. Parking brake. Release.
Alright, I usually let GigaChad do all this here, so let's just autocomplete this page while we finish getting everything else set up here. So our METAR for here is 2974. So 2974. Alright, let's get our PFD. Let's get bearing 1 set for GPS. We need to contact the ATC and get our clearance for takeoff.
Charleston clearance delivery. Yo Mike Alpha IFR to Baltimore ready to copy. Yo Mike Alpha clear to Baltimore airport at mile. Take off runway 23 climb and maintain 12,000 feet. Departure frequency is 128.5 squawk 0.
12,000 feet, that's interesting.
Yo Mike Alpha clear to
Alright, I'll plug in 12,000, but we're getting up to
take off runway 23
27,000 today, son, so we're going to have to adjust that as we go up. We'll have to contact the ATC during our climb. Alright, let's set that.
Charleston, Yo Mike Alpha with uniform ready to taxi IFR. Yo Mike Alpha taxi to Ethel short of runway 23 via taxiway Bravo Alpha. Contact Alpha on 125.7 when ready. Taxiing hold short runway 23 via taxiway Bravo Alpha. Yo Mike Alpha.
Alright, put your seatbelts on, buddy. Alright, let's close that up. Let's autocomplete this because this is taking too long. Force finish. Autocomplete page. Alright, very good. Alright, let's go taxi. Let's get some coffee and some snacks served so that orange will go away. Our temperature is good. Let's see what's being served today. Oh, it's the same as usual. Macaroons, croissants, post-it notes, and coffee with some weird white stuff on top of it. Alright. Very good. Alright, let's go taxi to the runway. Let's stay on here so we can refresh as we need to. And let's go here and zoomy a little bit. Alright, let's go ahead and release the parking brake. Did the parking brake release? Yeah, it's gone. Okay. Now once we get rolling, we got to put ourselves in beta mode. So right behind idle, where the reversers are, it's a mode called beta mode. And that's what we're supposed to be in for taxiing. And it says beta on the throttle as well. Next time we go inside the airplane, I'll show you. I don't know why we're pulling so hard to the left. We shouldn't be. Alright, so now we're in beta mode again. Like, especially when I got the rudder set like 2 to 3 to the right already. Like, there's no reason why we should continually be going over to the left. Unless there's that much wind, but I don't think there is. Look, if I just don't touch anything, look at that. That's crazy. Yeah, when we line up and we do the last little bit of this checklist here, I'll show you the beta mode inside the cabin. Man, I set up my new work computer today, man. It took me almost 2 hours to set that thing up. An hour and 45 minutes of setting it up was doing all the updates to like the security and whatever needed to be updated. It's crazy. Crazy that it took that long. It restarted like, I don't know, it maybe like 10 times, somewhere in that area. Someday you'll find it. Yeah, we're still going off track. It's crazy. Yeah, once we park, I'll show you beta mode. It just, when it pulls that much to the side, it just makes it more difficult to take off. And let me rephrase that. Taking off's not difficult, but making the takeoff look nice is difficult. Like, getting up in the air is not hard, but like getting up in the air, like when you're kind of going in a straight line and you're not really like veering too far off to the side, or that's the part that makes it tougher when it veers that much.
Charleston Tower, you'll Mike Alpha, ready for IFR departure, runway 23.
All right, let's line up, and then
Cleared for takeoff, runway 23, you'll Mike Alpha.
now this checklist I'm doing here is the last checklist I'm going to use on screen here until after we land. Okay, let's stop. Let's put our brake on. Let's run through this.
Jet switch. On. Alt switch.
Yep.
On. Leave air lever. In.
Yep.
Open. ECS cabin comfort switch.
Yep.
Normal. Fuel pump switch. Manual. Ignition switch. Manual. Tow switch. On. Landing light switch. On. Strobe light switch. On. Com messages.
Yeah, we're good. We're good with the messages.
Consider any illuminated. Engine instruments.
Yep.
Check. Radio avionics. Check. Flaps.
Alright, so that's all good. Let's go ahead and close that out. And normal takeoff is fine. Let's see here. 85 knots is rotation. Landing gear, yaw dampener on, and then for climb, we need to put the pumps on auto. Okay. All right, very good. Let's go ahead and start our takeoff. I do want to click nav at least. All right, very good. And let's go ahead and release the parking brake. And we just need to make sure that we don't go into the red on our pound-feet of torque, and that our ITT doesn't cross over into the 800 range. So it's kind of a happy medium with the power. Like, instinct tells you that you want to put the power up as high as possible. But that's not what you want to do. Alright, landing gear up. Alright, let's put up, let's get close to 140 knots. Put our flaps up. Oh, flaps are already up, actually. Alright, let's go flight level control. And let's turn on the autopilot. And we need to make our speed 140 knots. Alright, 2973. Now the reason I did this departure, oh, hang on, let me bring up this chart here for maximum continuous power climb. All right, fuel pump and ignition need to be set to auto. Taxi lights, yeah, all that. All right, ice protection, right? Okay, ice protection, what's our outside temperature right now? Oh, yeah, we need to put on our ice protection. Propeller heat. Alright, let's turn off the landing lights and taxi lights. Are we starting to ice up on the windows? No, we're okay on the windows. Alright, now maximum power for takeoff is 770 for ITT, and 101.7 for the NG here. Yeah, the reason I did this takeoff and this route here, like how we're going to go down and do this loop, is because I wanted to input the least amount of waypoints as possible, and in doing that I was able to do HVQ, then J6, which is the airway that we're going to take, and we're going to take that airway all the way up to our arrival. So, which I still need to put in. So let's actually, well, we'll do that as we get closer. But I do want to get up to 27,000 feet at some point. Still doing that. That's weird. That's shaking. That was doing that a lot last night too. I don't know if that's a controller thing or an airplane thing or a live weather thing. Alright, let's increase our altitude for the ATC. Alright, increase cruising altitude. Let's increase it by 10,000.
Charleston departure, you'll Mike Alpha. Request flight level 250.
Excellent.
Climb and maintain 12,000 feet. Expect flight level 250.
Alright, here we go. We're getting ready to make our turn. See this live weather, how it's like, see how it's like kind of crazy with the wind and shit? Like, I know that if we go into live weather and turn live weather off, that's gonna stop immediately. And I just don't know if it's like really turbulent air or if it's like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I know if I go into here and turn off live weather right now, this will go and settle. Watch. Watch this. Ready? Clear skies. Now it's nice smooth sailing. You know what, let's I'll leave off live weather for a while. I don't really feel like flying over all those clouds anyways. I'd rather look at the ground and see shit while I'm flying. Yeah, I went to college down here in Charleston, South Carolina. It was a lot of fun. Let me tell you, man. A lot of fun down here. It was far enough away from home. Yeah, the college should have been somewhere on this body of water here. I think this is McCorkle Avenue right here, I think, and the college was somewhere. I used to be on the crew team, which was like in the boat where you're rowing. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. Alright, we can increase our torque a bit. I thought we agreed on 250. Alright, we'll do 230. I mean, it doesn't really, when you get up to that level, I guess it doesn't really make too much of a difference. Sorry, I thought our Chad would have done it.
Climb and maintain flight level 230. Mike Alpha.
Alright, so 230, that's fine. Let's go ahead and plug in our procedures today. So for our approach, we are doing, well, actually let's do our arrival first. So arrival, enter, doing EMI 7, and we're doing the MRB transition. Let's load that.
Indianapolis Center. Mike Alpha requests destination change to Baltimore.
It's weird that it wasn't in there already. Alright, now let's select our approach. And we're doing, I was trying to do ILS for 15 right, but hold on. Alright, we're turning off the ATC because it's not following our flight plan. Let's turn them off because that's really annoying. I mean, I have that option turned on. Alright, piloting, ATC, let's turn that off. Yeah, look, user experience, ATC enforce flight plan on. Alright, let's just turn all that shit off. I only really care about having the ATC on if we're doing live weather, and since we're not doing live weather, what's the point? Alright. Yo, what's going on here? Where the fuck is our airplane going? Let's pause the airplane real quick. This airplane has got a mind of its own right now. Alright. I wanted to do 15 right. I thought that's what I chose, but maybe that's not available. Yeah, I sure did choose 15 right. And it doesn't look like they have that available. So we gotta choose a different. Yep, no 15 right. Alright, I guess we can do RNAV. We'll do ILS 15 left. Pick up Crean. And let's see what alright, let's get rid of 15 right. Let's put that in the trash. Let's go BWI, let's go 15 left is this one here. And we have 402 is a decision height, it looks like. Yeah, 402. Let's come here, let's do that, let's do this. And let's type in 400. That's the closest whole number. Alright, let's go down to load. Hit enter. Yes. Alright, let's see. Alright, let's go heading mode. Switch into heading. And let's go live again. Alright, let's pick up HVQ again. Oops. And let's actually drop our climbing speed to 125. And let's put this up to 25,000, which is our cruising altitude today. But actually 27,000 is our cruising altitude. Let's go to 27,000. Alright, we're getting ready to pick up HVQ again. We may need to put a little more fuel in the airplane as we get closer, just because we're kind of, you know, we kind of went out pretty far and then kind of went around, so. see if GPS will do its thing. Let's put ourselves at standard pressure. Let's increase our torque a bit. We got some room to go. There's the airport we took off from. Alright, let's see if we stay on track this time. Alright, route. Let's check our passengers. They're kind of hungry and thirsty again. And they're probably going to be getting kind of hot soon. Let's lower the temperature a little bit. They like it somewhere between 19 and 21, so let's lower the temperature 1 notch. And we can turn off our anti-ice equipment now. Still leave the pitot heat on. Yeah, man. What's up, Keith? Thanks for subbing. I appreciate it. Happy Sunday to you too, brother. Yeah, I told you last night my knob work was ferocious. It was so ferocious that I broke the screens last night. That's why I'm doing this. That's why I'm flying this plane over again, because my knob work last night crashed the screens. All these screens went completely blank at about 10,000 feet as we were landing. And normally I would have tried to have landed, but lately when these screens go blank, you can't control the throttle anymore either, so it's like pointless at that point. So I just turned everything off. But yeah, man, I had some pretty vicious knob work earlier in this flight. You kind of missed it, but you know, who knows? Maybe we'll turn some knobs again. But yeah, thanks for coming back. Yeah, man. I fall asleep sometimes while I'm flying these planes. Sometimes you'll see me, if you catch it, sometimes you'll see my head kind of go down a little bit. I kind of fall asleep sometimes during these flights too. They're kind of boring sometimes. I mean, even flying the plane is boring sometimes, especially when you're just at a certain altitude for a while. But yeah, I bought this plane a while ago, and I never really had issues with it until the last patch. And ever since the last patch now, these screens have been going blank periodically, and I think I figured out what the problem was. But I forgot about that problem last night when I did that flight. I mean, there's two major issues. One, you can't fly it in Europe. That was the first issue I had last night. The second one is you really can't use any of the airports that are handcrafted by Microsoft. There's like a list of like 150 of them. And I used 2 of those last night, not remembering that I couldn't do that, so. And I turned live weather off for now, because I think that was another issue, so. I got live traffic on, and I may turn on live weather again, but it's so cloudy and stormy out here today that, like, I don't want to look at clouds the whole time. I want to look at the ground. That's one of the reasons I like flying these planes, is because I like looking at like the scenery and shit that's on the ground. I don't want to just look at, you know, pretty clouds that are rendered pretty you know, pretty shittily, if shittily is a word. Oh, hey man, it's all good. I'm telling you, I fall asleep during these streams too. It's all good. Yeah, I had a long day too yesterday. That's why I started falling asleep last night. I probably would have tried to done something else after that, man. I was done. I got up early yesterday. You know, did a bunch of stuff. You know, boring adult stuff. All right, let's see what our torque is. All right, so we can still go up to 1313 for the torque. So let's push this up a little bit higher. Not too much higher, just a little bit. And what's our outside air temperature right now? It's negative 33. So we got to get this chart up so we can figure out what our torque rating is supposed to be for this. This plane came with a 148-page manual. And there's a whole realism section to this plane that is pretty dope. I like it. It's so all these things you have to keep track of. Here, let me show you. So when you first start the plane and you're looking at the tablet, it has like your light bulbs, tires, brake pads, battery, engine, and then under the maintenance section, they have like the propeller, you know, flaps, all that shit. But the realism, you know, you can have all these different failures at any point, but you have to keep the airplane maintained properly, you know, to try to eliminate that. I do have the wear and tear turned on. The tires will pop if we land too hard. And we have certain action cameras that I have turned on, so like whenever I operate the flaps or the landing gear, it like goes to the outside automatically and kind of zooms in. It's pretty cool looking. And then we have our passengers here, which they're usually a big pain in the ass because they continually need to be fed and given food. And if this temperature goes north of 21 degrees or south of 19 degrees, they start complaining about how cold it is. Let's get them some pillows. Maybe that'll help them out. All right, we got plenty of fuel. Our flight's looking good here. All right, so we're at negative 36. So that will put us at, go to page, what is it, page 130 something, I think. 136. Okay, so we're at negative 36, negative 38 in that bracket. And at 27,000 feet, we should be somewhere between 1161 and 1170 for our pound-feet of torque. So we are kind of over where we should be for our maximum power. Yeah, we should be no higher than 1170. So let's lower this down a little bit. We're at negative 36 right now. Yeah, 1170 is the max. So let's go down just a little bit more. All right, and we're at the altitude. Okay. There we go. That works. All right, now our torque range is good. I don't know why it still shows HBQ when it's not our next waypoint. Like, down here it says perks. Outside it says HBQ. It's weird. Now, I might turn on real weather as we get closer to Baltimore. But yeah, this plan should take us kind of, well, I can show you guys actually. We have the charts here. So this is Charleston, Charleston, West Virginia. So this flight's going to take us West Virginia, Virginia. Let me unlock this. Okay, Virginia is like right here. This is West Virginia right here. So we have West Virginia, Virginia. And then this is Martinsburg. And then we're just going to kind of cross into southern, like the southern part of Maryland here. Because like here's Virginia right here. This is Maryland. This is Maryland. So like southern Maryland is down here. But this is like the southern part of like middle Maryland. I live down here like in the Baltimore area. So yeah, Martinsburg, it's a pretty big town for NASCAR. And then Frederick is Maryland, Westminster's Maryland, and then we're going to turn towards Baltimore Washington International Airport. Now a lot of times the planes land over my house, but we're not going that way today. Or are we going that way? Who knows? But now if you look at the plane here, the reason why it's kind of cockeyed is because of the wind. Now if we had live weather on, this would be pushed more to the... Okay, I like Pittsburgh. Yeah, man, I've been to Pittsburgh a few times in my life. That's a pretty nice town. At least the few times I've been to Pittsburgh, I enjoyed it there. But the reason it's kind of cockeyed is because the wind is pushing us. The wind is kind of coming in from this direction and going north, so we have to turn into the wind to try to keep straight. So that's kind of why we're facing that way. That's kind of what I'm thinking, but can't tell. I mean, there's no wind showing here, but I mean, at 27,000 feet, there's got to be some wind. Even if you have live weather turned off, there's got to be some wind. I'm actually kind of curious what the wind looks like what the weather is. Let me go to Navigraph and look at the weather in this area and just see what it is. Navigraph came out with a new feature a couple months ago where you can actually put like weather data all over the map. So you can look at radar, METAR, and turbulence, and wind. Alright, let's scroll in here. So I would like to try to keep live weather on. I just needed to turn it off for a minute because the ATC wouldn't leave us alone and the wind was going crazy. Alright, METAR, let's go to radar. Oh, that's not too bad. That was just right there. Alright. Yeah, let's turn live weather back on because I would like to fly with live weather as much as possible. Alright. Let's see if it drops the airplane at all. A little bit. Yeah, see, this is my problem with flying with live weather sometimes is like I don't want to look at just clouds the whole time. Like I know that's kind of realistic to do, but like this is a simulator. I don't need to be realistic with a simulator. So I'm going to turn off live weather for now. I may turn it back on later. I don't want to look at live. I don't want to look at clouds the whole time. Alright, but yeah, we do have a fair amount of storms around here today. Yeah, man. I mean, I live in Baltimore, but I'm a pretty big... I mean, I shouldn't be saying this out loud to too many people, but you know, hopefully nobody's watching. I've been a pretty big Steelers fan for like a chunk of my life. I'm 45. I would say probably close to 40 years I've been a Steelers fan. You know, when the Baltimore Colts were stolen in the middle of the night and shipped off to Indianapolis, I had no team to root for, and I was a kid. You know, growing up in a football town, then you have no football team. You know, I didn't want to root for the Redskins. Don't tell anybody, Frank. Just keep it between us. But yeah, growing up in a football town, I mean, I know I was a little kid, but still, I mean, it was still exciting. you know, I was still into sports, and back then when I was growing up, I mean, there was the internet wasn't around. Like, there's no social media. Thanks, Frank. I appreciate it. But anyways, so I didn't like the Redskins. The Eagles were okay, but I don't know. I always liked the Steelers and like Steelers defense, and I don't know. They just seemed like a bunch of badass dudes. Just so I like the Ravens. They're okay, but you know, I mean, I like them because they're the home team. But if they're playing the Steelers, I wouldn't be rooting for the Ravens. That's for sure. I don't like a lot of the decisions they've made either over the years. Like I don't like Lamar Jackson. I didn't like Joe Flacco either, but I don't think Lamar is the right quarterback for Baltimore. He was good for like the first couple years until people caught on to him, but you know, those running quarterbacks never have an excellent career. They can get close. You know, like Michael Vick, he was okay, but he never won any Super Bowls. Thanks, Keith. I appreciate you. Yeah, that's some of my favorite football games I've been to is when the Steelers come to town, man. That's a fun stadium to be at. Same thing up in Pittsburgh too when the Ravens come into town or really anybody from the AFC North at that point, whether it's Cleveland or Cincinnati. I mean, anytime they come into town here or in Pittsburgh, man, it's yeah, man, there's definitely emotions and stupid drunken fights and emotions are pretty high. I've seen a fair share of good fights in my time at Raven Stadium. Yeah, man, those are good teams too, man. The Jets and the Panthers. I don't, you know, I mean, you know, you can root for, like, I don't know. Some people get so hung up on being against certain teams. I just like watching good football games. You know, I'm a fan of football. Like, I like watching good games, whether it's college or NFL. I don't really care who's playing, but if the game is good, man, I'll watch it. The Jets seem to be a team where like old quarterbacks go to retire. Like, especially from Green Bay. Like, if you retire from Green Bay, it seems like it's the Jets and then it's retirement. Or maybe you'll go to the Vikings after that, like Brett Favre did. So we'll see what happens with Aaron Rodgers. Oh yeah, Eagle Stadium's a rough place, man. I've been there a couple times. I had some friends that went to college at Drexel, and some family that went to University of Pennsylvania. I know the wind hits Aaron Rodgers the wrong way, and the wind breaks him. I know. He wasn't like that when he was in Green Bay. He was hard as nails. Then he dated Danica Patrick, and then he dated Olivia Munn, and now he's fragile like a piece of paper. He just folds up like an accordion now. Just put him on the shelf. The Jets had a really good quarterback a few years ago that got injured. I forget, some young kid. I forget his name now, but he looked kind of promising, and then like he got injured, and then I don't remember what his name is now. But it was around the time that I guess it might have been like 4 or 5 years ago. Oh yeah, he's on the Chiefs. Yeah, that's I don't know his name, but he's the tight end for the Chiefs. Supposedly some like porno, like some nude pictures got released of her, but it was AI generated. So I was trying to find them last night, but couldn't find any. Seems like they were covered up pretty quickly. But yeah, supposedly some artificial intelligence. I don't know what it was, but they were AI generated pictures of her. Yeah, but yeah, she dates the tight end for the Chiefs. I think the Ravens are going to get smashed up again by the Chiefs again. They just cannot seem to get past Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. The Chiefs got their number. It's going to be a sad day in Baltimore tomorrow for all the Ravens fans all them purple hearts breaking all over Baltimore tomorrow. All right, we got peaks. Where's our top of descent at? Guess we still got a bit of a while. We may have to speed this up a little bit. Where do we, let's see here. Let's go to flight plan. Oh, wow. We got to start descending here pretty soon. Cream. I don't see top of descent anywhere on the map, though. Yeah, I guess I don't know too much about her. I mean, she might not like football. But she might like, what's his name, enough to put up with it. Alright, let's put our altitude down, I guess, to 19.6, because that's what's showing there, and then we'll click VNAV and see what happens. I don't see a top of descent anywhere. I think if I read the tabloids correctly, I think he left his girlfriend for Taylor Swift. I think he was dating some black chick before Taylor Swift, and like she was like the complete opposite of what Taylor Swift looks like. Like she was shorter, had more curves, and had like a huge chest, just big old fake ninnies. And then you got Taylor Swift, some fragile waif, you know, like she rich as shit though. That would keep me like I would definitely date somebody for their money. I don't care what they look like. They could be 500 pounds. They could be ugly as hell. If you got some money, I'll give you a shot. If I could be if I would date somebody, I'd be a good house husband. No problem. I'll do the laundry and just let me play my video games and my simulator, you know, during the day, and I'll make sure you got a meal when you get home, and I'll take care of the laundry and shit, and you just pay me. Just pay me. Absolutely. Yeah, she is rich as hell. If I was her boyfriend, I'd be trying to see if Taylor Swift and Selena Gomez would like to do a double dip flip, being that they're best friends. I'm sure they've experimented in the past, being that they're both Hollywood celebrities and they've been to tons of parties and shit. I'm sure that they've, you know, I'm sure Taylor Swift likes spicy, like some spicy shit. Selena Gomez can't be that smart. I mean, she dated Justin Bieber for how long? I mean, like, that kid's a douchebag. Alright, there's our top of descent, so that is coming up. I wonder why it doesn't show on this map here. Usually it shows on this map too. But it's showing here, so that's fine. Lazy J Aerodome. Gotcha. Yeah, I haven't seen that yet. Yeah, some of these crimes that people commit nowadays are so stupid. Like, it's so easy to get caught with some of these crimes nowadays, especially if you break into a celebrity's home. I mean, you know they're gonna have cameras and shit everywhere. Like, I don't know. I mean, I guess if you're completely covered up and nobody can make out your face, and you know you don't leave any DNA anywhere or fingerprints, I guess, you know, or footprints. You know, I mean, I guess you could kind of get away with it, but most of those people that break into celebrities' homes, they just want to grab something random like some underwear or a shirt, you know, or something to kind of, you know, like make them feel like they're closer to the person. All right, let's drop our speed a little bit so we're getting ready to start descending.
Check gear.
Oh, shut up, lady. Anytime you put the throttle on idle, if she comes on, it's like check gear, check gear. All right, I do want to see what the course is and the frequency for our landing. 11195, that's already programmed in there. Okay. Now we could do an RNAV landing as well. That's what, 115.1? Let me type that in just in case. Just in case I want to change. So I'm curious if this airplane will switch automatically. Yeah, that's right. Them Amber Heard dirty draws. That's my kind of girl. Shitting on the bed. That was funny, man. When I was watching that Johnny Depp trial and I heard that, I watched almost every day of the trial. And when they were like, you know, well, here's a picture, you know, and Johnny Depp's like explaining like how he came home and there was like a huge dookie right on the bed, and I'm like, oh man, Amber squatted on the bed and she fucking dropped some Cosby kids off on the bed, man. That's crazy. She had them Hershey squirts. All right, BWI. Let's go. What are we doing? 15 left. Where's RNAV for 15 left? Is there an RNAV for 15 left? Yeah, here we go. RNAV 15 left. Cream. Yeah, so it is the same thing. And it's the same decision height. I'd rather try to do that. I want to see if the airplane will. I want to see if this airplane will pick up the frequencies, you know, and switch everything over on its own. Let me feed these people again, and then I'll kind of tell you what I'm talking about here. Let's go back here and let's go to route. Yeah, a grumpy. That's right. I think they did call it a grumpy. That's right. It's crazy. Amber Heard was really hot at one point too, like when she was younger. And then you looking at her now, man. Like, I firmly believe that when people are ugly on the inside, it eventually starts coming out of their body and like starts showing on the outside at some point. Like, I firmly believe that. I've known enough people in my time that were very attractive when they were younger, and as they've gotten older, they started looking like trolls. All right, so we got 2100 in there right now. So our VNAV is telling us it's going to take us down to 2100. But what I want to check out today is if we're in this GPS mode and I click approach, when it's time to click approach, if I don't flip the CDI indicator to VOR1, I'm wondering if the system will flip automatically. Because I've been in some airplanes recently here that have done that automatically, where they'll flip. Yep. That's right. I mean, everybody's pretty good looking when you turn the lights off. But, you know, can't always date somebody in the dark. You can get away with it for a couple of dates, but eventually they're going to have to see the light of day. You can't just go to movies and you can't just do Netflix and chill and movies and, like, you know, you got to take them outside eventually. All right, let me look at our descent. Yeah, everybody gets ugly at some point, that's right. I like that song from Bullet for My Valentine. I think it's called Ugly on the Inside. All right, let's look at our checklist for descent here. All right, windshield heat. Nice. Nice. All right, what's the temperature outside? 27, so we're okay. Windshield heat is okay. Ice protection is okay. Power lever, altimeters, descent elevation we already have, and cabin climate controls are okay. All right, so that's really it before landing. And then when we start our approach, we need to put our fuel pumps and our ignition on manual. All right, so we're good. We'll just keep an eye on the temperature right now and our speed. All right, let's see what live weather looks like right now. Whoa! Oh yeah, look at that. We're way off on altitude. All right, I'm going to leave live weather on now and see if that screws us up. Let me go back and turn the ATC back on. Like I said, I do want to try to fly with the ATC, you know, the ATC active. I'm sorry, I do want to fly with live weather on as much as I can. Because I like, you know, having to keep track of the barometric pressure and all that. And, all right, enforced flight plan and ATC voice is on. All right, so we should be good there. Let's go back.
Washington Center, you'll Mike Alpha is type 9er miles south of Whiskey 9er flight level 225. Request flight following.
Yeah, I got a little bit of chores myself here in a little bit. I got to empty the dish. Well, I mean, I'm a parent, so I always have chores, but my son, who normally does the dishes, he's staying at my mom's house for like a week, so I got to empty the dishwasher and take care of the dishes in the sink. And then tomorrow's my first day of work in like almost a month. So I'm kind of looking forward to it, but not really. like it was kind of nice not working, to be honest, but I do need to go back to work, that's for sure. But all in all, it was kind of nice, like not having to really get up at a certain time. My work's not really hard. I mean, I work from home, so it's not like, you know, just I got to be in front of the computer and on the phone all day. I'm a life insurance agent. Never really worked from home until COVID, and then when COVID started, we all started working from home. In pretty much my industry, we all started working from home. But then my kids, when they were doing school from home, they kind of became hermits, and at that point, like they just did not want anything to do with outside anymore, and they still don't, which is crazy. So that's like the opposite of how I was when I was growing up, man. Like I had video games when I was growing up, but I mean, I also played lacrosse. I played drums. I mean, I still play drums, but I was in a couple of bands when I was a teenager. You know, I mean, like, I never wanted to be home, dude. I always wanted to be at one of my friends' houses, hanging out, playing cards, bullshitting, drinking, smoking, you know, and my kids want nothing to do with the outside world or really anybody that has to do with the outside. They're just happy being in their rooms, and like my daughter's fine just being on TikTok and, you know, games, and my son is okay with just playing video games. Like I don't get it. Yeah, that's cool, Keith. Yeah, I had to sell my kid a few years ago when I got full custody of my kids. But I'll be getting another kit here in a couple of months. Another Roland V drums. That way I can play in my house like any time of night. But yeah, I've been playing for like 30, I guess about 30 years now. Yeah, somewhere around 30 years. I have another channel that's got like 25 videos up of me drumming to songs and shit like that. But yeah, I haven't had drums in probably about 4 or 5 years. A real drum set. I have a practice drum kit, like with just drum pads. We might be, Keith. We're both drummers, and we've both been working home since COVID, and we both have chores, and we both like simulators. So, might be, man. We might be cut from the same DNA. Who knows? Might be. Yeah, I kind of miss working from, like, in an office. I mean, sometimes it's okay working at home, but there's times where I definitely miss working in an office. That's for sure. You know, getting away from the house and being out and about in public. All right, what's the meter here in Baltimore? Let's go here. Weather. All right, so we have 20 degrees, 6 knots, 2.5 square miles visibility, broken clouds up to 800 feet, overcast 1,700 feet. I don't know what the 7 and 6 mean, but barometric pressure is 2967. Sonar Delights, man, I remember them.
Washington Center, Mike Alpha, flight level 190.
I had a set of purple Tama Rockstars that I bought when I was in high school, and I had them all the way up until I got married, and I wound up selling them around the time I got married. At that point, I stopped playing for a couple of years. I had a really bad run with the last band I was in, and you know, we signed to a label, and we were recording our album, and yeah, I'm serious, man. It was a 5-piece purple Tama Rockstar. Yep, I bought it right from Gordon Miller Music in like Towson, Maryland. But yeah, I was warning the band. I'm like, we shouldn't be signing this contract. It's signing over all the rights to the music. It's a stupid idea, and they kicked me out because I wouldn't sign the record deal. I got pissed, sold my drum set, said I never wanted to play again. 6 months later, I see them in concert. There's like 4 people that came to see them. and they were on the verge of breaking up because they were making no money because the record company was taking all their profits. Yeah. And I laughed my ass off when I found that out. I laughed right in front of them. Yeah, mine were dark purple too.
120.65 You'll Mike Alpha Mike Alpha.
Yeah, I want to say I bought them like
Washington
1992 maybe, 1993.
17,700 feet.
Oh shit, I gotta change the barometric pressure. What is the pressure? Oh, well, thank you. 2967. All right, let me switch over a couple of things. So, all right, let's go to our charts here. Yeah, my parents wouldn't help me out at all when it came to buying drums or equipment. I had to pretty much buy all that shit on my own. So I wound up starting to work when I was 14 and got to it. All right, 155 looks like our final approach course. Yeah, 155. So let's go into heading mode. Even though I want to see if this thing will flip over automatically, I still want to have the correct info program. So let's go to localizer. And what did that say, 155? Yeah, 155. Let's come over here to our course knob and program in 155. Alright, let's go to localizer 2 and do the same thing. Alright, so those are done. Now we can go back to CDI, push that again, push GPS, and now push nav again. That nav button works for this mode and also when you're in that other CDI mode. Like if you were flying to a VOR station and you were in like VOR 1 or 2, you could click nav and it'll take you there as well. I don't know, maybe half an hour. Let's see where we're at. I would think maybe half an hour. I mean, here's Martinsburg right here. And then we just have this little bit left, so probably half an hour. Or 27 miles from Martinsburg. And then we'll begin our arrival. Alright, let me lower the speed a little bit. And let's buckle them back up again. I'm sorry, lower the temperature a little bit, not the speed. They're doing okay. I'm interested to see what they're going to say about our landing, if it's going to be a good landing or not. They always like to give me feedback. I've had a couple times where they told me it was a shitty landing. They were like, that their landing was terrible. You know, feel like you broke my neck. All right, where is idle at? Let's go down a little bit farther. Outside air temperature is -15. We should probably put on some icing equipment here pretty soon. Let's wait till it gets a little colder. I mean, a little warmer. Now this plane, I do need to make sure I turn it off correctly as often as possible because of the realism part of the, that I have turned on. So I know last night I didn't because I just quit the plane, but I mean, to be honest, the plane quit on me first. I wasn't trying to quit that flight, but that airplane had enough last night. I was like, man, you know what? I'm good. I'm gonna turn these screens off, and you can do you, and I'm gonna do me, and maybe we'll see each other later on. I was like, for real? For real, Piper? It's gonna be like that, Piper. Malibu Meridian, I am astonished you're that much of a dick. Especially after all the good things I said about you. I haven't called you Malibu Meridian. Almost everybody else calls you M500 or P46T, but I gave you a name. I gave you a name. I gave you a middle and a last name, not just numbers. All right, Eastern West Virginia Regional, Shepherd Field. See that frame rate starting to drop a little bit. Oh yeah. That's one of my favorite airplanes, that CJ4, man. I love that thing. I want to fly that Dark Star plane. I want to get that thing. Like, I've never been able to do that flight in the Top Gun section. I've never been able to get that plane, like I've never been able to fly it properly. Like, rolling it over at the right time, and I want to try that. I like some of those Top Gun flights they have where you have to fly really close to the ground and shit. Like, that's kind of fun. Yeah, CJ4 is a fun plane, man. I like that plane a lot. Every time I fly that plane or the Longitude, I'm like, man, can they come out with a CRJ for Xbox at some point? Like, I know it exists. I know it's on PC. Can y'all please come out with it for Xbox at some point? Alright, here's our plane right here. We need to be at 11,000 feet at Rouen. Is that only for turbojets? Expect clearance to cross. Oh, yeah, that's for turbojets. That's not us. Okay. Turboprops were a bit less than that. Yeah, we don't really have that much farther to go. We're pretty close. Alright, the wind seems to be doing okay now. It's not all funky like it was earlier, where it was going from like 14 to 40 and like back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Alright, let me check our METAR here. So this is saying 2965. I like in this plane how it gives us like the elevation, transition altitude, and like the length and the type of material for the runway and the direction, like 144, 1500 feet by 28 feet. Like, it's pretty cool. Alright, so we're looking at 2969. And let's see here. Oh, that's interesting. Alright, so 2969. Still no wind gusts, so that's okay. Alright, let's put our pressure up to 2969. Alright, let's see if our passengers are hungry or thirsty. Both. They're starting to turn orange. That usually means they're hungry and thirsty. So let's feed them and give them more post-it notes. Got macaroons, croissant, post-it notes, and some weird white shit in the coffee. But the passengers love that white shit. Whatever that white shit is inside that coffee, they love it because they're always thirsty. Yeah. Potomac approach, yo mama. Alright, 2966, very good, alright. Yep, all that's done. Altimeters, fuel pumps manual, ignition manual, lights, landing gear, flaps. Yeah, 10 below 168 on the screen. And then landing is flaps 36 as long as we're below 118. And disengage the autopilot and the yaw dampener at 100 knots.
126.9 Mike Alpha, Mike Alpha. Goodbye. Approach Mike Alpha, Mike Alpha, 10,400 feet.
Alright, 2967. Usually the METAR doesn't change that fast. Like on a regular basis, usually it's not updated every like 2 minutes, but you know, it is what it is. Alright, fuel is, you know, it is what it is. And alright, so we're pulling up on Rouen. Alright, let's set this up for the RNAV landing. So let's let's do this. Let's push in. Let's change this to 115.1. That's the Baltimore VOR station. Now I don't have the IL, I guess I should change it here too. I don't think I saw that approach in here, but let me see. Maybe I missed it. Oh, I did miss it. Okay. Alright, let's do this. Let's do Preen. Still 400. And scroll down. Alright, very good. So that's all set up now. Had to take care of them knobs. Saying, grabbed a hold of them bitches. Took care of business. So essentially what I'm going to leave it in GPS mode, but essentially we need to wait for this icon here, which is the bearing 2 indicator. We need to wait for that to get to like 155 and then turn, because at that point we'll be on the correct radial, for this landing that we're doing today. So we'll see what happens. I'll be back in a few seconds. Gotta have a quick by myself meeting real quick. Oh, man. By myself meeting. 30 seconds. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Wow. That was great. That was wonderful. Yeah, it can be a lot of things. When it's only 30 seconds, you can use your imagination. Had to drain the main vein. The only person I know of that's had a different kind of by myself meeting on camera was DSP. Stupid motherfucker he is. I think Ghostface from Wu-Tang was the first time I ever heard anybody say by myself meeting. I think it was on his Iron Maiden album, if I remember correct, from 94 maybe? 96. I used to listen to it a lot when I was in college. Might have been, I forget when that came out, maybe 95, 96 when it came out. Yep, the by myself meeting. It's going to be the next to catch up meeting. Well, it's all competition. I think that was from the first song on that album. I think that was from the... I'd have to listen to it. I think it was, I think that by myself meeting. I know I got it from Wu-Tang, from Ghostface. I think it was from the first song, actually. Not that it matters. I'm just thinking about, so where's the first time I heard that term? I've been using it since then. Oh, why are we in pitch mode? Alright, let's go VS. Let's go 500 and let's see what we should be at. When I went to the bathroom, we were in VNAV. I come back, we're not in VNAV anymore. Alright, we should be at 3,000 feet, so let's get down to... Alright, well, it's got 3,000. Okay. All right, well, let's go down 1,000 feet then.
Check gear. Check gear.
I'm trying to get you off of that, lady. There we go. All right. And we can see our indicators getting closer to 150, 155. All right, let's put on pulse lights, landing lights. What's the temperature outside? 2 degrees. We probably should put our icing on just for a few minutes. Even though we kind of missed that opportunity when I was in the bathroom. And once we line up with our approach, then we'll go ahead and switch the ignition and the what's it called over, and the ignition and fuel pumps. All right, let me see what Baltimore's current landing recommendations are. Let me go to Navigraph and see what they say. See if it's IFR, VFR, IVFR, MIFR. What type of FR is it? Yeah, MVFR. So modulated visual flight rules. So that means we're probably better off doing an ILS landing, to be honest. All right, well, let's do that then. Let's switch this over. Is that the correct? We'll try an RNAV landing another day. Yep, that is correct. IUQC. All right. Let's click. I don't think approach will do anything yet. Nope, nothing yet. Okay. Alright, so it's still 3,000 at Crean. Alright, let's sync up our heading. Let's put our let's see here. Let's put our fuel pump and our ignition on manual. Thank you. And adjusted down landing gear. Okay. How far out are we? Not that far. All right, what is the METAR right now? Well, one says 2969, one says 2965, so I'm just going to leave it right in the middle there. Let's check our passengers one last time, see if they're hungry or thirsty. Oh, they're okay. All right, very good. Alright, we still have VNav on. And I can't really click approach mode yet. Let me look at CDI real quick. Let's go into heading mode. Alright, let's wait until we turn for Creen and then try clicking approach mode and seeing what happens then. Because I think then it might switch over automatically. If it doesn't, it doesn't.
Towing approach yield like Alpha. Request clearance to transition Bravo airspace. Cleared through Bravo airspace yield like Alpha.
See, there's nothing, like, usually, so let me pause this real quick so I can show you what I'm talking about here. So the other airplanes that I've flown, the other ones that have these Garmin systems, when you get close to a VOR landing or a localizer landing or ILS or anything where you're using frequencies, typically if you're still in this GPS mode here, this mode will start showing up automatically even though you're still in this mode. Like there'll be another line, like this blue line behind this pink one, like it'll show up and it'll be offset like this is, you know, like where it shows like that you're not lined up yet. So I don't know if this is going to flip automatically because I don't see that offset line. Usually it's a dotted line that shows up, and when that dotted line starts showing up, then you can click approach and then it'll go ahead and put you in pending approach mode until, you know, you capture the glide scope, or capture the localizer or glide path or something of that nature. So if that makes sense. But since there's no dotted line here with, you know, showing us what we need to do to line up with our course, I don't think it's going to flip automatically. But we'll see here in a moment. Oh yeah, it's not going to work because there's our glide scope and that. So let's click approach now. All right, localizer is capped. Yeah, so this plane won't do it automatically. That sucks. I kind of like when the planes, I think the CJ4 might actually do it. And the Longitude. I think those two planes do it automatically. I like when you're in GPS mode and you click approach and it'll flip the RNAV or flip the ILS automatically, instead of you having to go in and do heading mode and flip the CDI indicator and then click approach. Like, man, look at this. This shit is crazy. All right, bitches, take your seats. It might be a bumpy landing. All right, so for landing, we need to put our flaps down. All right, so that's the first stage of flaps. Nice. Yeah, man, from pit to clit. That's right. That's funny. From pit to clit. I like that. That's fun. Strap yourself 55. So you mean you got 55 guns? What are you talking about? Strap yourself. You got 55 guns, Frank?
Check gear.
Oh, seatbelts. Got it. I got you now. Now that makes sense. All right, and then from Adcock, what is it? About 3 miles. So we're pretty close to our landing here. Gotcha. Oh man, screens went off. So it must be the live weather. Ugh. There's no sense in continuing. I guess I'll just have to try this flight again later today. So I guess I'll have to make the thumbnail instead of redo, it'll be redo, redo. Redo times 2. Shit. All right, I'll be back a few hours from now. Fuck. So it must be the live weather that's killing it. So then what I'm going to do is, yeah, I think what I'm going to do is go back and do that flight I did last night from Mifflin to JFK and turn live weather off. That was a quicker flight also. But I'm curious if it's like combination of the two, or if it's just live weather, or if it's got to be live weather, because I had live weather on both times, and both times it just quit. It's got to be the live weather that's killing it. That sucks. All right, well, I will be back. It was nice meeting you again, Keith. Hopefully my knob work was up to your standards. And the King, I will see you next time around. I'll be back later on tonight, probably, I don't know, maybe 6 or 7 o'clock East Coast time. But I will see y'all later on, my dudes. Y'all have a good Sunday. If I don't catch y'all later today, I will catch y'all next time around. So that's about it. Let my boomer ass figure out how to turn off the stream. There we go.